Welcome to God Power Live, where the original woman comes to connect with her likeness and refine her emotions so she can end the inner war and do what she came here for. My name is Naima. I'm broadcasting on Facebook and TikTok. For those of you who are new here, uh, the replay is never on TikTok, but it is on Facebook, and you can find all replays because I'm here every weekday at 12 p.m. Pacific. At least for this week, 12 p.m. Pacific. That time could change, but for this week, I'm here every weekday at 12 p.m. Pacific. And to get the replay, you come over to facebook.com/ Naima Singletary number one. Facebook.com/ Naima Singletary number one. I just got out of the Embody Your Platform Masterclass, and it went a little longer than I expected. So I haven't had much chance to breathe. So here I am breathing. So today's topic is the value, the benefits of being ostracized and rejected. That's today's topic. The benefits and the values of being ostracized and rejected. So this is common. This actually came up during the masterclass. The word disowned, maybe I should have put that in there. The word disowned came up by one of the participants in the masterclass. Being disowned. Being disowned. So being disowned by husband, being disowned by mom, those are the most ones, right? And how that will also reflect on your children, how your children will feel about that, assuming you have children. And so let's get into that. So one of the perspectives that I shared that the women were like, oh, wow, I never looked at it that way is so many of you, this may or may not be you, but so many of you are, we call it comfort in the pain. It's familiar, right? You don't like it, but it's familiar, okay? And a lot of us will spend years there, yes? We'll spend years very uncomfortable, but it's tolerable. We can still go to work. We can still smile here and there. We can still take care of the kids. We can still, oh, you child of God, look at you, right? Just suffering and pain all the time. that was I was being facetious right there. And nothing is moving you though. Like it hurts, it's uncomfortable, you don't like it, you got chronic headache, chronic fatigue, chronic back pain, but none of it is making you move. None of it is making you move. And if you were to do whatever the thing is that you're avoiding doing, that you don't want to do, even like avoiding clarity, because something about clarity, suddenly when we have clarity, then there's action to take, then there's responsibility. And I've worked with a lot of women who have avoided clarity so they can stay out of the decision making and so all the things that you do to not take action. And let's say you did decide to take action and you were rejected, because I shared the story and I went into detail. Thank you for those hearts. I went into detail about how my mom said I was an embarrassment to the family. And I told the story and all the details that I had not shared publicly, right? And so for the women who were like, my fear is being disowned, right? And so let's say you took action where you were afraid to take action and your husband disowned you, your mom disowned you, your whoever, your kids were like, Mom, the other kids, are, I'm embarrassed. And let's say that happened, right? Welcome in, folks. Thank you for liking the live. Let's say that happened, right? That would sting, wouldn't it? It would hurt. When my mom was shouting at me, telling me I was an embarrassment to the family, my niece and nephew could hear, my sister is listening, I was sitting down with my head down. Like, I don't know how to respond to this. I don't know. And I made the decision knowing very well that my mom could potentially find this information that I was terrified of her finding. So I too had my own fear of, what is this going to mean if my mother finds this blog? What's going to happen? How she's going to respond? How's our relationship going to change? Is she going to love me? What's going to happen? Right? So that was my version of being, what if I'm disowned? Right? And she found it. Okay. So in your case, you get disowned in whatever way that in your mind you just have this vision of what it's going to look like, and it looks horrible, and you do not want that thing. And in your attempt to avoid that horrible thing happening, you stay in your comfortable pain. Like, really look at this here. Thank you for all those hearts. Hello, Majestic. Thank you for liking the live. Right? So just for those of you, because so many of us are doing this, we don't like our lives, but it's better than what would happen if we actually embarked on the no regret path. Right? Because that was the thing that kept coming up during the masterclass today. My biggest fear is regret. Like getting old and regretting that I didn't move. And you were disowned in some kind of a way, right? Or even if you weren't disowned, it felt like it because your mom is telling you you're an embarrassment to the family, you're stupid, you need to take that down, right? Your husband is telling you that's not the woman I married, you disrespecting you, right? And all of your sensitive areas are being touched. Your heart, because you want to be a good mom and now you don't feel like a good mom, because you want to appear like this and now you don't appear like this anymore. And all of your shit is getting ripped at, and it burns and it stings and it hurts. And you like, ugh. The way that you're not moving now, the way that you don't like your life, but you sure do hang out there. It's boring. You're not alive. You're not active. You're not really going after the money you really want to make. You're not really showing up, talking about the things you really want to talk about. I mean, these women want to talk about rape and raw about it in their content. They want to talk about abuse from parents in their content, but they're not because they're scared. These women want to talk about narcissism and the effects of it. They want to talk about trauma. They want to talk about all these things in their content, and they're talking about it in these sort of basic ways that are not magnetic. No one's going to buy. No one's going to lean in. You sound like the 20,000 other healers who are on TikTok talking about, I just want to share my thoughts today. And I woke up and I want to inspire you with this message. And I want to do this. And I had it on my heart today to tell you. And God told me to, like all the other basic chicks on TikTok and Instagram talk. There's no magnetism there. No one looks at you and says, oh, she knows. How can I work with her? No one is, because they're so scared of being disowned by somebody, by a husband, by friends, by family, by whomever, right? So the pain of that and constriction of that is apparently more powerful than their desire to talk about rape in their content, raw, online, about the emotionality of it, the darkness of it, how it drags you, takes you down, and what it took for her to lift herself up out of that, and the real ugliness of it, that when another woman who watches her on TikTok, who is dealing with being raped and hasn't resolved that, and listens to her talk about it rawly because she got over herself, she got over the fear of being disowned, and when she talks about that shit online, people are like, she's talking about it. I can't believe that. I've never seen anybody else talk about that. So then she wants to pay you. She wants to like your content. She wants to share it. She wants to tell somebody else about it. So what moves you? Here is counterintuitive, and I've constantly said that real power is counterintuitive. On the surface, it looks like a bad idea. On the surface, it looks like, no, don't do that. Your nervous system responds to the real thing, the powerful thing. So in this instance, the powerful thing would be talking about the very thing that you're afraid that you'll be disowned about talking about. The logical mind says, no, don't do that. And that's the very thing to do. And you've heard this from philosophers who say, to get rid of the fear, you do the very thing that you're scared of, and then the fear goes away. Philosophers have said the same thing. So what I said during the masterclass today, where they were like, wow, never thought about it that way, was because she's like, I'm scared of being homeless with 3 children. That's what one woman said. And another one was like, I'm scared of being disowned. And like the women were getting the fuck into it today, okay? I said, what if you were disowned? Okay? And that hurt. Like, you got to really feel your way through this stuff. Super feminine. what would it be like to be disowned? Like, what's the vision you have in your mind? What's the feeling that you imagine it would feel like to be disowned? Get into it. Care enough about your life to invest the time to feel what it would feel like to be disowned. Oh my God, I would be alone. Oh my God, I would feel like I have no purpose, like I don't belong anywhere. Then what? Then I would feel like, oh my God, I'm useless. Then what? Then my self-esteem would just, oh my God, then what? But then I wouldn't be able to move in life. Then what? Then I would, and take that thing all the way through. Thank you for all the hearts. Take it all the way through, right? The burn of that, the sting of that, the bottom of the barrel, the horror of that would fuel you in the way that you actually want to be fueled now, but you can't because you've created this comfortable pain. It's familiar, but you don't like it. It's known, but you don't really care for it. You're not proud to write about it to your dad and say, Dad, look at what I'm doing. You're not proud to tell do you want your kids to do what you're doing now? Do you want them to duplicate exactly how you're living now? Yes or no? Do you want to get proud in your content and tell people this life of comfort that I'm bored with? Are you proud to tell this story? No, you're not. But you sure do hang out there. So obviously that is what you're okay with. You're not finding the fire, the burn, the grit that you need to move you, that has action. But let your ass get disowned. Get disowned. And watch how that ricochets through your whole spirit and moves you in a way that you can't be moved right now, that you're unwilling to move right now. It's counterintuitive. The very thing that you're afraid of happening, like the woman who's like, she's afraid of being homeless with children, but she's already like, I mean, like your children are watching you in this low, your children, what you think they gonna do something different? They watching you stay low. They watching you, live in fear. You're teaching them. We're gonna be homeless, but it looks like you're on your way there right now. Just slow. And don't you think that being in a situation like that would drive you? How many times have the worst situation driven you? Because when it's all good, and they've talked about this through the lens of war, they say in times of good, men relax, they loosen they, will, they drinking, getting drunk. But when times are hard, motherfuckers put on them bootstraps, they get a lock in and get to work. Because see, comfort, boy, is so seductive, peaceful, so comfortable, so familiar. I know what time they're coming and going. I know what time I'm doing everything. Wow. And then what happens? You just slowly rot. It's slow. It's not obvious. You just slowly fall into ruts. You fall slowly and it's like that example they've used with the frog, where the frog doesn't know, if you put the frog in hot water, it's immediately going to jump out. But if you put the frog in close to room temperature water or slightly cold, and then you just lift the temperature a little bit at a time, just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit, real slow, and then lukewarm, just a little bit. Eventually, the frog will be sitting in hot water and will not even move because it didn't feel it coming. It's the same thing when you are in a comfort state where it's comfortable, but you don't like it. It's comfortable, but you're not proud of it. It's comfortable, but you wouldn't want to do it again. It's comfortable, but you're not proud to write a book about it. It's comfortable, but you're not out here like, girl, this is the way. This is the life, right? And you just slowly, just very slowly end up in a hot boiling water. And then you wake up one day at 50, 55, and you're like, what How would it that? So the perspective I share with you today is the very thing that you fear, do it. It's counterintuitive. The fear of being disowned or any fear that you have that is, and I mean, and I asked the women today, I said, don't give me this basic fear y'all got. Give me the real fear, the real fear. And that's when they started saying being disowned, being homeless with 3 kids, etc. Oh, TikTok is light today. Hello to you. TikTok is light today. I should have stopped it and restarted it because sometimes it'd be an algorithm thing. But do the thing that you fear, baby, because what the woman shared about regret, and then folks was like, regret, yeah, that whole regret thing. Your time is here and now because death is coming. We're all going to die, just like your great great grandmother. Have you ever met your great great grandmother? No, because she's dead. Yeah, just like you're gonna die, and so is your mom. So your life is here and now. That concludes our time here today. I look forward to returning here with you tomorrow, 12 p.m. Pacific. Lots of love.